Welcome to Geolingo.Breakpoint, the channel where we expose how elites engineer Western collapse from within. If you're new here, subscribe, hit like, and activate the notification bell, because truth doesn't get airtime on corporate media. What is forced technology transfer, and why should we care? Forced technology transfer is Beijing's practice of compelling foreign companies to hand over their proprietary technology, intellectual property, and know-how in exchange for market access or government approvals. This isn't contractual negotiation. It's a fait accompli imposed by the Chinese state through administrative licensing, forced joint ventures, and mandatory R&D obligations. How does China enforce this system? To enter key sectors like semiconductors, biotech, telecom, foreign firms must partner with Chinese companies. Typically, they cannot hold majority ownership and must share advanced tech in joint venture agreements. These JV requirements are often disguised as local regulations but enforced coercively. Additionally, programs like the Thousand Talents Plan and Plan 111 recruited Western-trained scientists and experts, some induced or coerced, to transfer cutting-edge research back to China, including defense-relevant technologies. Would the West let this slide? Despite mounting evidence and WTO disputes launched by both the EU and US in 2018 accusing China of IP violations and forced transfer, China faced minimal consequences. Even when the European Union brought a WTO case against China's FTD policies, the remedies were weak and enforcement was toothless. In 2025, Chinese courts were only partially rebuked over anti-suit injunctions in patent disputes. 3 out of several claims were reversed, but the structural issue remained untouched. Why did Western elites allow this transfer? Critics say it was a mixture of greed and ideology. Globalist economists and corporate executives saw cheap manufacturing, massive markets, investment returns, and so they turned a blind eye to systemic IP theft. Western universities joined the trend, entering joint institutes with Chinese universities, even some tied to China's military sector, for the prestige of collaboration, not realizing or ignoring that their research would be weaponized. Does Chinese IQ explain all this? China's culture does emphasize intense academic rigor, leading to high student achievement. But ability alone doesn't account for its meteoric tech rise. The real driver was Western-enabled technology transfer. Without market access or global contracts, average IQ gains wouldn't match the level of industrial innovation China enjoys today. How did democratic institutions help sabotage progress? Western democracies, especially the US, have systems designed to slow decision-making, divided branches, judicial hurdles, regulatory red tape. These ensure no swift action can counter elite consensus. So while politicians debate nuclear regulation or tech export controls, China quietly built its industrial military complex by exploiting loopholes and weak enforcement. What about criminal justice? Do powerful insiders ever get punished? Rarely. Cases like high-level money laundering, bank fraud, or illicit research ties get buried unless low-level operators are exposed. Big institutions survive. The elites remain untouchable. The system is structured so the powerless take the fall, the powerful walk away. How deep does the infiltration go? It extends into health agencies, NGOs, academic bodies, political lobbies, PDF think tanks with Chinese state overlaps. Even Chinese police stations have operated in Western cities under the guise of diaspora oversight. The idea of American stations in Beijing is impossible. Yet the reverse is allowed. This asymmetry speaks volumes about who wields institutional control. What is the broader impact on Western civilization? The economic strategy of dismantling industry under green, bureaucratic policies, open border migration, deindustrialization benefits China. Europe's factories vanish, demographic shifts reshape societies, consumer debt skyrockets, and Western identity erodes. These are not random. They are the byproducts of elite-engineered globalism underwritten by financial interests aligned with China. So what should listeners demand? We must demand transparency, accountability, and reversal. Political and legal mechanisms to bar forced technology transfers, end academic and corporate collusion through joint institutions, close illicit talent recruitment programs, break the revolving door of government and big tech, and restore national sovereignty over foundational industries. Forced technology transfer is not just a trade issue. It's the weaponization of Western openness. And the West must wake up before the collapse is permanent. This is Geolingo.breakpoint. If you found this episode eye-opening, subscribe, like, and hit the bell. Let's build a community that refuses elite betrayal. We'll keep exposing what they don't want you to know. Stay sharp, stay sovereign, and never forget, real change begins with curiosity and courage.